Have you ever walked out of a meeting and thought to yourself, why didn't I just speak up? Because you had the idea, you knew the answer, but in the moment, something else happened. Your mind went blank, you softened what you were about to say, or you decided it's just not worth the tension. Then later, driving home or in the shower, you could say the lines perfectly. It was just in that moment, you couldn't do it. And you start to think, why couldn't I just say it in the moment? This shows up in other ways too. You might notice that you over-explain yourself, especially to people in authority, or you walk on eggshells around some people. And maybe you replay conversations in your head over and over again, long after they've finished. And if that happens to you, it's easy to say, oh, well, I just have a confidence problem. But very often, it's not confidence at all. It's a pattern your brain learned a long time ago. Over the years I've been working with clients, I've noticed something fascinating. Highly capable, intelligent people often repeat the same emotional patterns in their careers, in their lives, in their relationships, and in their decisions. Different situations, different people, but the same internal reaction. Almost always, those patterns trace back to roles they learned early in life. By the way, if you're wondering what pattern you may have developed growing up, I created a quiz that identifies the most common patterns. I'll link it in the video below so you can take it later. But first, let me show you how these patterns actually form. So let me give you an example. A client I'll call Josie once shared a moment with me that happened when she was around 8 years old. One evening, she saw her father hit her mother. He gave her a black eye. It only happened once, and he never did it again. But when you're a child, your brain does not process things logically like an adult does. Your brain is asking only one question: how do I stay safe? Josie remembers the silence afterwards, the tension in the air, that something very bad could happen if conflict escalated. So, without anyone telling her to do this, she made a decision that a lot of children do silently. She decided she would keep the peace. She started watching everyone's mood. If her parents seemed tense, she became extra agreeable. If her brothers and sisters started fighting, she would step in to calm things down. She always tried to smooth things over before they got worse, and that strategy worked. To her, the house seemed calmer, and she stayed safe. But let's fast forward 25 years where she's a senior director at a large organization. She's smart, she's capable, respected by her peers. But something keeps happening in meetings. One day, her firm was discussing a strategy for a major project, and Josie had done most of the research. She knew the data better than anyone else in the room. During the meeting, a senior person started proposing an idea that Josie already knew would not work. She could feel it immediately. Her chest tightened. Her heart started beating fast. She thought about speaking up, but another thought appeared just as quickly. Maybe this will create tension. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe this isn't the right moment. So she stayed quiet. 10 minutes later, another colleague spoke up and said something Josie had been thinking. And suddenly, everyone nodded. That's a great point, the manager said. And the meeting moved forward with that idea. And Josie drove home that evening, frustrated with herself. She knew the answer. She had done the research. But in that moment, something shut her down. That wasn't lack of intelligence. It was a childhood pattern still running quietly in the background. Her brain learned early that conflict is dangerous. So she built a strategy to keep the peace, avoid tension, don't escalate situations. And the brain is incredibly loyal to strategies that once kept us safe, even decades later. Now, your experience doesn't have to be this dramatic for patterns to form. Sometimes the patterns form from things that happened over and over and over again. So imagine living in a household where the siblings fight like siblings do, but the parents continuously take the other kid's side, not yours, every single time. Maybe the parents said to you, "Why are you always causing problems?" Or, "Just let it go. Why are you being so difficult?" And after that happens more than a few times, the kid starts to learn, I cause problems, and speaking up makes things worse. It's just easier if I stay quiet. So they adapt. They become the low-maintenance child, the one who doesn't need anything, the one who doesn't argue. And that may maintain peace in the household. And that strategy may have kept the family more calm. But years later, that same person is struggling to advocate for themselves at work, in friendships, in relationships. And it's not because they lack strength, it's because their nervous system learned this rule very early on. Speaking up creates problems. And sometimes these pattern forms in more direct ways. I remember something from my childhood. My dad would come home from work, he would line us children up, and he would speak to us loudly and sometimes in anger. And if someone answered wrong, they would get slapped. So as a kid, I learned very quickly, authority can be unpredictable. My body braced as I tried to calculate the right answer. So I tried not to say the wrong thing. And decades later, that learning, it still shows up as an adult. I would sometimes shrink when speaking to my boss. I would struggle to find words that normally easily came in high-pressure conversations. Or you could have had something similar happen in your childhood where your mind just goes blank in challenging situations. And it's not because you're incapable. It's because your nervous system is reacting to something that happened a long time ago. And here's the part that people find so relieving when they finally understand this. These reactions don't mean that there's something wrong with you. They are signs that your brain adapted. Children are incredibly intelligent and figure these things out in order to survive. They develop roles. They develop a peacekeeper, the caretaker, the achiever. You get the idea. And those roles are what they carry into their adulthood. And they think, oh, this is just the way I am, instead of, oh, this is a pattern I formed in order to adapt. And they don't realize that the pattern that they created when they were 8 years old is still running the show as an adult. If you see yourself in some of these examples, I want to give you a simple exercise. The next time that you find yourself shutting down, walking on eggshells, or hesitating to speak up, pause for just a moment and ask yourself one question. How old does this actually feel right now? Not how old you are right now, but how old does this reaction feel in your body? Because a lot of people start to recognize something surprising. They're sitting in a meeting at 42 years old, but the feeling in their body feels like they're 8 or 10 or 12. And that's when people realize, oh, this started back then? That it's an old pattern that's trying to protect them. And once you start to see these patterns clearly, things that used to seem confusing start to make sense. That's why I created the quiz. Over the years, I started to recognize that people started to fall into specific patterns. And if you take the quiz, you can identify which one is yours. Each of these patterns dictate how we respond to authority, in relationships, under pressure, or in conflict. The quiz only takes a few minutes, and many people are surprised about how accurate it is. You can find the link below this video. It's completely free, and it's a powerful first step in recognizing the pattern that may be shaping your relationships, your decisions, and your stress responses. Because once you see the pattern, you can begin to change it. And that's where real freedom begins. I'll see you next time.